You are now about to witness the awesome, crushing might of, wait for it, Bet you didn't see that coming, boy. Round number 300. Round number 300. I am your host and dizzy as fuck right now. Eugene S. Robinson, really holding that note. Welcome to Knuckle Up 300. 300. Know what that means? That means I still haven't been nominated for MMA Commentator or Journalist of the Year. And I got 49 shows before I self-destruct on the air. It's up to you, all 7 of you. But first, UFC on Fox 21. Maia, Condit, Failure, Woodpile, Stink, Nazis, Outre Sex. Right after the words that kick it all off. Stigmata, Calling It a Just. I'm on my way back to nowhere. I could not hear too clear. Taking a real good look at you. I'm taking a real good look at your face. Or being paid back in full, always nothing. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, that's just one to use out there. See, not men, man, gentleman, whichever one to use that is. Anyway, this is round number 300. I'm your host, Eugene S. Robinson. It's going to be a slightly attenuated show, superannuated, because in the Canada, I got to go train. It's early, and it is Mr. Eugene S's Geburtstag. My meine cumpleaños, my tutti, what is it in Italian? It's my birthday, and like I said to a guy in the office right before he actually almost started to cry, which I ripped off from the young ones. You knew that, and we don't care. I know it, you didn't know it, and you don't care. I got it. That's fine. Let's get straight to the fight. Well, no, let's not get straight to the fights. I'm now purposely doing it to be irksome. You know, you know what? In a lot of ways, the internet, which I thought would never make it, was tailor-made for a guy like me, a likes to fight guy. And on my sister's page, not only I got like, if you go to My Night with a Nazi on Ozzy.com, OZY.com, My Night with a Nazi, got Nazis in, baby, first 60 seconds, and go to the comments. There's some guy, I'd like to take your stories and throw them in an oven and burn them up. You know, why don't you fuck off and die? It's much more vitriolic than any commenting that happens on Bloody Elbow. Very possibly because people at Bloody Elbow have a sense that people on Bloody Elbow will approach people on Bloody Elbow. Like in the old days of the internet where I would drive by some guy's house. Hey, smart guy, you're not so tough behind the computer. Come on out. Come on out. I did that. The guy lived off of Haight Street. Like he went to his house. Fuck it. He didn't come out. I will fight you in the street. Come out now. Over what? I don't know. Something having to do with music. But my sister on her block They put these fucking city bike things, take up like 6 parking spots, right? It's really hard to find a parking spot in New York anyway. And now you got this bike share thing, which they could have put on the sidewalk. So I said, hey, you know, get a jug of gas, burn that thing to the fucking ground. They didn't consult you, you know. And one of his ardent bike enthusiasts is like, you're an asshole. You're attacking me on my sister's page. And I was like, hey, man, just because you want to get a quart of milk at a time and do not have children or elderly parents, you know, which you can't fit all on your bike, you know, there's a place for people like you. It's called Amsterdam. So in a lot of ways, I come for the fights. I come to fight, and I come for the fights. And at UFC on Fox 21, you actually have some. It was a lot of don't cares. But since I go backward in time, I get to gloat, and I don't get to live. I don't have to walk through my failures quite as fast as I would if I started at the beginning. And of course, it's my birthday hat looks remarkably like a dunce cap. So, so here you go. Oh, I know where I could put it. And if at any point during the show you see my birthday hat start to rise, you could probably just log off. You log off. Something unhealthy is happening. So anyway, so we're going to start with the gloat-a-thon first, right? Because all the Vegas odd makers, all of the fucking naysayers, right, including Kid Nate, had picked the natural born killer. You guys are like professional wrestling fans, right? You think that a guy has a scary name, that he's gonna show up. Oh, he's got a hockey mask and a machete. I got a machete. Nobody's scared of me, you know, because I don't have the hockey mask. You know, he's the natural born killer, Carlos Condit. And Carlos Condit himself said it best. I mean, it's not a direct quote, but I'm sure you've heard it. He goes, frankly, I don't even know if I deserve to be in there anymore. And in that single statement, period, close quotations, what he does is yank himself right out of the fucking Lost Battalion. It's like that great scene in Apocalypse Now where by the Dulong Bridge, if you remember, and and the guy is like firing off crazy in the night. These 2 African-American soldiers or infantrymen are firing off into the night. And Willard says, you know, who's in control here? Guy looks at him and goes, ain't you? Ain't you? And the other guy says, hey, he persists. And he goes on, he's like, hey, do you know who's in control? Who's in command here? He says to another African American soldier, and the guy he goes, do you know who's in command here? And the other African American soldier looks at him and goes, yeah. I know who's in command here. Chaos is in command here. That's who's in command here. You get out of the Lost Battalion by being supremely self-aware. I know exactly where I am. Carlos Condit is not in the fucking Lost Battalion because of this wonderful act of legerdemain where he says, how about this? I am going to give you a platonic freaking, oh, this is getting better. It's like a Bjork video. I'm going to start doing witchy elvish things soon. Yeah, you know, which is Bjork has a great birthday song as well. So here you go. There you go. And it matches the shirt I'm wearing too. So now it looks like I'm some kind of creepy male stripper. Yeah. Call me Ricky Rocket. Okay, it's just dizzying when I do that. So he says, I'm sorry, the cat took a poop on the arm of the chair next to where I'm sitting. And so I'm smelling this pervasive smell of poop. So I gotta just spray this because I can't take it. So it's like in the old days. I need a handkerchief. So in that one fell swoop, I mean, you do understand, of course, that it's not nobody who's stepping into that cage has any desire to avoid bullshit categorizations that exist on some show on fucking Bloody Elbow. You know, they're not like saying, the fuck I am Lost Battalion. I'm not Lost Battalion. They don't have, so that's what makes it pure. Whereas you get a sense that Goldberg is really strangely aware of the fact that we are counting creepy Goldberg smiles. Was trying to modulate his dead-eye smile that he turns, it flashes either to us or Rogan, who kind of, Joe Rogan, who like always kind of pulls back, you know, like, and then he looks at us like, he did it. He's doing it to me. So you get the sense that they're not really thinking about this shit that we're thinking about, or using the language that we're using, or framing stuff the way we're framing it. So it is kind of magical when it happens, when you get a Condit who goes, I don't think I really belong here. I'm having serious questions. And in that moment, you have a kind of a refreshing, you know, a refreshing two-step, a super refreshing two-step that is what initially attracted people to somebody like a Donald Trump, where you get the sense of life unscripted. I have to tell you, frankly, there was a porno that I was watching back when I was doing Skull Game, and before Skull Game became a clothing company par excellence with a dead website, whose T-shirt you could only get through me. But in any case, it was a porno, and it was kind of a blooper reel, and they were hanging out on the set, and somebody had a water pistol, and they started shooting each other with the water pistol and reacting involuntarily. And I started to think, this is one of my favorite moves of porn of all time, and it's completely and totally non-sexual because it is naturalistic, which is even to say, which is a misnomer. To say it's naturalistic means it's natural-like. In actual fact, it was natural. The only thing natural-like about it was that it was a video representation, right? Which means it wasn't actual. It wasn't an actual experience. A buddy of mine, his first wife, fucked around on him, and he goes, who does this? What kind of crazy person does this 2 weeks after they've been married? Just plenty of people do it. He goes, like who? And she starts naming people, and then he has one of those, like, the shining moments where he goes, those are not real people. You've just named 3 people from TV shows. And she looked at him, and it was that moment where you read, all work and no play makes Jack a very dull boy, and realize, I'm in crazy town. I'm in crazy town. So it was natural. So the natural born killer, he didn't do too much killing, but what he did very much and very clearly is give us a glimpse into how one gets out of the Lost Battalion. And that is, I'm gonna publicly ask a question that privately you might be asking yourselves, and I'm just gonna take this shit right out. Guys would ask me, Eugene, what is your secret? Your secret to having sex with? What are some of your favorite lines to use with women to get? And it's like, man, if you're asking that question, it means that you need remedial classes, okay? And I said, honestly, hello, hi, these really work super well. Typically, hello and hi, I like those as openers. But it helps also that I have a touch of autism as determined by my kids, because I can say stuff that people with social blinders would not say. I'll give you a prime example. When I was in college, I was sitting at some outdoor concert with some woman, and we're sitting there, and the music is all right. It get kind of hot, temperature-wise. I look at her, and she looks pretty nice, and I say, her name was Kolu. She's from Africa, and say, hey, Kolu, and she goes, yeah. Never had. I said, we should go back to your apartment right now and have sex. She goes, what? I go, just an idea. Now other guys would be like, oh, I would have backed off. And I said, let me explain to you that it was a thought that I had in my head. And because it was in my head, it was then in my mouth. And now it's in the air. And she kind of looked at me and looked back at the music. And then she goes, I don't think that's such a bad idea. And then in full Eugene Robinson fashion, Eugene Robinson fashion, I took offense. How could you possibly take offense, right? I said, I want to have sex with you. And she says, that's not such a bad idea. What could happen now in the next 1.7 seconds that I took offense? Well, I sat there, and the way she phrased it, it was like she was giving me something. Not that we were going to share an experience, but that I had asked for something and she was going to give me something, and I took offense. And I said, you know what? Never mind. Yeah. That's why I don't do seminars. But, you know, the question is, did I feel bad about it then, or do I feel bad about it now? Absolutely not. Fuck that. The point is, I got to a place that you guys maybe never get to. You just got it. And so when Condit stood up there, the most manly thing he did probably all month is to say, I don't even know if I belong here. I don't even know if I belong here. Hey, how about this? There's a strong possibility that I do not at this point belong here. Oh, and Popeye's ass is right here too. So the cat poop and the Popeye ass. I'm just gonna stick one of these up my nostrils. So just gotta blast the odor killing thing right out of the air. So Condit asked what we should be asking, and I have to say, frankly, given what I said about him on the Care Don't Care preview, is that, you know, dude hadn't fought for a while. Dude has had a hard run of it. He's training with Jackson, and, you know, controlling his breathing is really not so much the key to victory. I get the sense that, and I've gotten the sense like that with a lot of schools, with the exception of AKA, also known as the Winningest Fight Camp, that what some of these places do are take champions and make them champions, which seems like it's saying a lot, but it's also not saying very much, right? I mean, if you've seen, you know, you could even, if you wanted to make the bold claim that Johnny Boney Joni was significantly better off before he went to Jackson Wink than he was afterward. You know, I mean, the stuff that made me a fan of Johnny Boney Joni was stuff that he had brought to the table prior to going to Jackson Wink. And I'm going back to the Stephan Bonner fight. Yeah, okay, he was a JUCO Greco-Roman guy, but those grand amplitude throws were something else. And it's not like people have stopped him. I don't know what it is. You know, and these guys focus, you know, is it the focus all on Johnny Boney Joni? Is it difficulty in keeping camp together with the personalities? I don't know, but it seems to me at AKA they are actually trying to, I wanted to use the word iterate, aggressively evolve. Like, we got to know what we don't know. You know, and we got enough guys here that if we don't know it, we can figure out how to know what we need to know. I mean, Luke Rockhold lost his fucking belt, not because he didn't know something. Luke Rockhold lost his belt because he had failed to follow the #1 rule of fighting, which is to remember that the guy opposite you is trying to kill you. Literally and figuratively. I mean, okay, maybe not literally. Maybe the guy's not trying to end your life, but end your economic life with great certainty. You have what's mine, what I want, I'm taking it. I think Bisping he's walking around his front yard naked with that belt, drinking tea on the front lawn. Fat ass. Yeah, which is what I would be doing too. Now Maia, you know, he was the underdog for reasons unclear to me. Unclear to me. What? Because his stand-up isn't good? I mean, this is this in Maia's defeat of Condit, you see exactly why the Gracies struck out on creating the Ultimate Fighter as a as a thing to prove the supremacy of a grappling art. You know, Chuck Liddell, they talked about going in. They talked about takedown defense. Condit's takedown defense rate is only, what, 40%, 43% effective. And you had to know. This was like that guy I told you about, and I'm Donna Shalala myself on my own show, who put his foot in the hot tub and his brain registered that it was really cold when in actual fact the thermostat had broken and the water was boiling. Couldn't tell it was boiling because it was a bubbling hot tub anyway, and the guy fell in, died. That's how they found him. Grandpa Stu. That's how they found him. His skin had fallen off his body. He had stewed himself. You know, so you stick your foot into oh, he's trying to take me down. Oh, Jackson Wink, they've got something for Maia. If he's on, he's gonna pull. If he's go from half guard, he's gonna pull full guard. He's gonna deliver elbows from the bottom. That guy is like to quote Sorrell, fuck it. Oh, really? Fuck it, huh? There's another guy who we got into who's from Israel, who was on our team, and he got into an argument with the Trump fan on the team, and he's like, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, it's a sport. What do you mean it's a sport? Well, it's not a martial art. What do you mean it's not a martial art? The applications on the street are fairly limited. And in his defense, I'm going to play devil's. I'm on both sides of the fence on this one. As a guy who's actually gotten into a fair number of street scraps, I can tell you. Let me think of my most recent last three ones, which occurred in Brussels, Maine, and what was the other? Maine and DC. In those three fights, the Brussels one, I slapped the guy off his feet. No jiu-jitsu. And what did I say? In the main one, Thai plum, knee to the midsection, uppercut, dropped him. And that was against two guys. The second guy did nothing. Remember, he threw the drugs at me and then he ran off. If you don't remember that story, maybe somebody can tell you in the comments because I got to go soon. And number three, actually, I hate this. You know what this is from? This is from Gi. You have such nice hands. Jiu-jitsu ruined my hand. So number three, the guy shoved me. I punched him in the face. He jumped on me. I ducked my head behind his elbow. Ultimate head and arm, twisted him down to the floor, so I splayed out to the side, crucifixed his arm and his head, and started punching him in the face. Jiu-jitsu. So out of those three exchanges, I used jiu-jitsu once, but that guy was the most fucked up guy. So, you might stick your foot in that hot tub and might not fall in and get burned to death. But once you get caught, you're caught, Jack. And you know what was even better is the self-awareness that led Condit to say what he said at the end is the same sort of self-awareness that was kicking in when he's on the floor thinking like, my God, I'm on the floor with a guy who's grand Abu Dhabi black belt in jiu-jitsu. I'm never getting out of here. A minute in some seconds, 49 seconds, whatever it was, in 30 seconds before the tap say of the first round, I'm not getting out. How did I get here? How did this happen? And anybody who's anticipating fighting dude is like, I gotta Chuck Liddell him. I gotta stay away. Stay away and pick my shots. And in the months before he finally gets his title shot, you know what Maia should be doing? Boxing. Which I understand he has been doing anyway. He thanked Jiu-Jitsu for everything. I love that. I love that. And because I don't have a lot of time, I'm sorry. I'm gonna zip to Paige. I'm gonna zip to my failures on the card. Paige Van Sant and Beck Rawlings. And we had Jenna Castillo on the Care Don't Care preview. Jenna Castillo herself, who is a professional, has fought Muay Thai, kickboxing, MMA. Has got a career. Has been in the cage a number of times herself. I think she fought Strike Force a couple of times. And she picked Rawlings. I picked Rawlings. But Paige surprised. You know why Paige surprised? Paige had no interest. Again, I seriously doubt that Paige Van Sant is watching this show. But she had no interest in being Sage North-butted, which is to have lots of talent, or Felice Herrig, who's won recently too as well, but been more known for outside the cage exploits than inside the cage. And she was the one who was sitting next to, who was the famous black cat who was sitting there in the audience? Not 50 Cent. Who the fuck was it? Oh, Kanye. She was sitting next to Kanye at the last UFC. Did that not give you like the creepies? Where like you see like Kanye sitting there with werewolf jaw. And next to Paige Van Sant, run, bitch, run! Okay, I don't use bitch to refer to women, but I was quoting a Dave Chappelle thing. Remember Wayne Brady? Get help. Get help. It's a Dave Chappelle show now, which is 5 years old. Also, September 2nd, if you're in San Francisco, text me or tweet me. Once again, if you're a fighter, you're on the guest list. Going to do stand-up comedy. Me and sports agent extraordinaire Salvatore Russo are going to go do stand-up comedy for the first time. He's a purple belt with the Scrap Pack. You know, Gil Melendez's place under Dan Marks, also a former MMA fighter, and me. It's going to be jiu-jitsu comedy. The best part about that is that we're both very touchy and take offense very easily. So it could be, actually, I'm very hard to offend, but it's very confusing, the kind of things I find offensive. Like stupidity usually offends my sensibilities. But it could be an evening of comedy or an evening of tragedy. And that's the best. It's a two-faced mask. It's a great thing. So Paige Van Sant actually has decided to not be not be north-butted, and actually dug down deep. I mean, presuming she got healthily away from Kanye, and figured out how to improve her game. And it was a much improved game. And that switch kick. And then even better, I was the happiest man I could be. I was happy because I look on the turnbuckle and what do I see? The 7-Eleven logo. 7-Eleven's a sponsor. Man, the only thing that way could have been more perfect is if I had been like sitting by the juniper bushes, watching the fight on my phone as I slipped on a Slurpee. Actually, me and the wife could have both been there. That would have been great. We sit in the 7-Eleven with Slurpees. Me watching the fight on the phone and her watching pole shit on her phone. It'd be great. What are you guys doing? God, fuck off. Yeah. So she took it seriously. Put out Rawlings. While I feel bad for Rawlings, I'm happy to see Paige kind of do what I wish people in her position would do versus being north-butted. I don't know how you're spending your time, buddy, but if you're not spending your time, look, it's going to take anybody reasonable at least a year of going 5 times a day doing jiu-jitsu to become any good at jiu-jitsu. And just to be clear, I can wind this show up in 10 minutes, which is my plan, because there was a Care the Care Don't Care preview. Even though, like I say, you know, some of these fights were worthwhile, it's a birthday show. I don't have time. Alex Ricci, Jeremy Kennedy, Chad Laprise, Thibault Goody, Shane Campbell, Philip Silva, Gareth McClellan, Alicia Di Chirico, Enrique Barzola versus Bochniak. I'm sorry, you guys. I am sorry. Oh, and how could I skip Anthony Pettis and Charles Oliveira? You know what? My take on this fight would have been much more charitable if I had not seen, thanks to one of you commenters, somebody tweeted me, if I had not seen that letter. What letter, Eugene, you're asking? Well, let's share it with you right now. Let's share it with you a little bit here. Let's see if I can find it. It was terrifying. And if you, I'm sorry to make those of you who already know what I'm talking about wait for me to try to find it, because I'm not finding it very quickly here. As I can't find it. It's maybe came through Twitter. Anyway, it was this letter that Pettis sent out his friends, family, and fans, and it was a pretty long letter, maybe about 300 words long, talking about the sacrifices he's put, the thing, and win or lose, he realizes he's a warrior. He backs the support and the belief. It was hard to read, like it is hard to listen to when you're in a position to. It was hard to read, and it was hard to listen to when you're in a position to hear it, where you're usually in a position to hear stuff like that, which would be a funeral. That's the place that you hear stuff like that, at funerals. That's the point I was trying to get to. It was an elegy. It was elegiac. It was, no, go away. So it was the kind of thing that you hear about people reading, except the person themselves has it written, unless they know they're going to die, and then they have somebody read it for them. I mean, you know, and the thing is that's funny about that is, and I put it in a nutshell and framed it exactly in the way that it should have been framed, which is to say, if he had not written this letter, my take on it would be completely, totally different. His letter his letter was framed along the lines of, if I lose tomorrow, you know, the battle of the light brigade, man. If I go out, if I don't return from this battle, know this: I hold you all in great esteem, and I got you, man. So that makes it a crapshoot. There's a reason Mystic Mac is getting $5 million and you're not. There's a reason. There's a reason. Okay, clearly a reason. So you won the fight. We should be like, huzzahs to Anthony Pettis. You got your choke. You fought a game fight. You know what? I'm going to have to go back to Tom Wolfe on this. I see you Navy guys come in here and you all look different. And when you come out, you all look the same. How's that? Scared. Now, I remember I had a friend who was gaming on being a Nietzsche scholar. He left that shit behind. But he asked another friend of mine who was a Spinoza scholar if fear, if it was possible to live a life beyond fear. And the Spinoza scholar said, we crazy? Fear is Michael Rosenthal. He teaches at the University of Washington. He goes, fear is pretty useful. Fear is largely why you're here and haven't wandered into the bear cave. Not a bad place to be, fearful. But, you know, fear is also, it's a chemical reaction, and it's a smell in the air, and it's contagious. So when we read a letter like the letter that Pettis wrote, it's like if I'm sitting next to you and I start freaking out. I stole a truck once. Well, If I was white, they would have called it joyriding. And I was under 18. And I was just so full of the joy of life after stealing it. Me and two other guys, we stole it. And I was, it's a pickup truck and I'm in the flatbed. I was like, da, 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 and I jump out and I start running down the middle of the highway. Yes, I was drinking. I'm running down and I turn around and they're running behind me and the truck is just sitting there on the road. I go, what the fuck are you guys doing? They go, well, what are you doing? I go, I'm just running. We thought somebody was chasing us. Nobody's chasing. I'm just happy. Get back in the truck. Come get me. So they get back in the truck and they come get me. And we, after we finish our joyride, we take the truck back to where we found it and sneak away. Contagious. So I read Pettis' letter and then I don't feel good afterward. Yeah, he won it, but yes, this is good art where you want to create, like Rawlings said once, I want to make you feel how you make me feel. I want you to feel Anthony Pettis, if he's Anthony Pettis, the artist, I want you to feel what I'm feeling. I want you in my skin. I want you walking in my shoes. You walk in my shoes, and then it's not so easy to sit in your fucking armchair and make decisions about Lost Battalions, Dark Star, or Major Tom, or all that Phantom Toll Booth shit. But you know what? I don't go to the fights to feel bad. The only place I go to feel bad is work. And realistically, I'm hoping to not feel bad there, So Pettis won, but here's another prime example of how you lose through winning. Do any of us feel with the ghostly pallor and this letter of death? Do any of us feel better about Pettis today than we did yesterday? Seriously, I don't have any dog in this hunt. I'm an inconsistent Pettis fan. I love the kick. I wrote about him for Ozzy. Spent time in Milwaukee. Seems like a nice guy. I've interviewed Duke Rufus. He's been on friend of Knuckle Up. Yeah. I don't have any. I'm not biased in any regard. But if there's somebody who feels good or better about this, please let me know. Please let me know. Because the amount of terror that he generated and sympathetic fear is going to last to the next fight. Guaranteed. Freaking guaranteed. What a way to stink up. There's a woman who I know who opened a friend of mine's show. He asked her to open the show, and she did this horrible self-defeating shit before. Oh, it's too bad not more people showed up. It really sucks to play to an empty crowd. Here's one of my lousy songs. And it was so horrible afterward. I got home and I defriended her all over the place. How could you come in and stink the joint up like that? How could you do that? How? Well, Pettis can show you how. Pettis has shown us how. So there you go. There you go. I mean, I have now 2 minutes. So I got Jim Miller and Joe Lauzon. Who cares? I mean, they're in a special place, right? They're in a special place where, man, they fought a great fight before. They're in a special place called that Dante would have called Purgatorio. I'm betting IT is looking pretty good to Joe Lauzon right about now. For what reason? Well, he's still making a lot of money fighting, but it's still a hard way to make a living, especially when the expectation of ultimate success, I mean, it's in your face every time. The Ultimate Fighter thing is absent. But I picked Sam Alvey. I picked Lauzon. Lauzon lost. I picked Van Sant. Van Sant lost. I picked Oliveira. Oliveira lost. So do I compensate by being really happy about Damian Maia? Well, it's my birthday, folks. So I'm going to, you know what? Eugene's only acting like he's going somewhere. You know what's really going to happen? I'm going to ring off this show in 2 minutes, and then I'm going to be sitting here for the rest of the day like this. How do you like that? With the hat. I'll take pictures of you one every hour and post it on Twitter. Oh, underneath the rubric, the world's saddest birthday. No, that's not true. Actual fact. So I got to go. I'm sorry. I would like to be more in depth, man, but you got to cut me some slack. It's Knuckle Up 300. It should be an earth-shattering milestone show, but I got to go train. And then birthday festivities. You know, there's certain things that I love. I love Christmas music, and I love holidays. Well, not all holidays. I love Christmas, Hanukkah, whatever you got. December holidays. Love it. Not a fan of Kwanzaa because it's a bullshit holiday made up in America. We really celebrate in Africa, which is not a country, it's a continent. So love birthdays. Doesn't have to be mine, other people's. Not big on the 4th of July. Like fireworks, but it's, you know, like the food holidays, like Thanksgiving. Thank you. I can see the tweets as I'm doing the show, so thank you. But anyway, so now I got to go. Oh, and I want to share this right before I go. Here, I got this. You see that my classmate, we did a special show on him. And now BuzzFeed has started looking at the guy's record. Turns out he's been lenient to other athletes. And there's one guy, he gave the guy a suspended sentence, should have given him a year, said, oh, go play football, you'll be okay. In that time, the guy then subsequently gets another domestic violence beef, beats up and chokes his father. The whole stops going to school, stops doing the things of his probation. Yeah. You know what? Let me explain to you. If I go out right now and if I just go to the police blotter and take 5 things that men did to their women, and I did them to other men right now, and you were to take me to court and give me and go through the whole process, I would draw more time for doing them to men than I would ever do if I did them to a woman. And that woman could be any woman. It could be my daughter, my wife, my mother, anybody. How do you address that? Like I gotta say, more female judges, and like I said before, more female cops. How many? Yes, there was a female cop in the Baltimore thing, but how many female cops are shooting people at traffic stops? That's what I want to know. And you can even, I'm going to go both sides of the fence, even balance that against female cops who were shot during traffic stops. Anyway, I know this could be another hour. I got to go. I'll see you soon. See you next week. We got If I Did It coming up, PR kerfuffles. Maybe talk about the hat. Maybe another PR kerfuffle. I don't know. And Care Don't Care preview, because I believe there is a show next week. So at Eugene S. Robinson, if you want to tweet during the show. Go to Ozzy.com, type in My Night with a Nazi, go to the comments, and look at those assholes trying to give me what for in the comments. And then I got a piece on Ozzy today about the $10,000 dog. Check it out. But I'll see you soon. Thanks. Look what you made me do!